So hey everybody. What is it? Tuesday night. This is the Rock Your Life team get together. And this is Jojo Bennington, and we have such an awesome special guest with us tonight. But before I introduce my friend, I would love to get some shares, some celebrations, gratitude, shout outs. Let's do it really quick. Somebody's got some gratitude going on. Anna, wow.
I have been on fire, and I've consistently stayed on fire. I think I've enrolled one person per week for the past 4 weeks, which is unheard of for me. And because usually at this point I will have, like, I don't know, jumped off a cliff and decided not to go forward anymore, because, you know, that's when you relax, is when you have momentum. And so I've rerouted and changed my thoughts and my habit patterns. And so now I'm going full throttle still. And I'm so excited about that. So
yay, that's exciting.
Yes.
And momentum is the exact time to push the gas pedal, not to push the brake.
Yes. Right? And I keep remembering that, but I'm actually doing it this time, which
that's awesome.
Boggles my mind sometimes. But
congratulations.
Yes.
That's exciting. All right. Anyone else? Quick share, quick gratitude, shout out, celebration. You have 10 seconds. Ready, go. No. 3, 4, 5. There's no gratitude out there. Look at you guys. I am grateful that I got to spend a month at the beach listening to the waves. And even though I'm missing them very much today, I am in much gratitude, because had it not been for a conversation 13 years ago that changed the trajectory of our life, that conversation took me to an event that was like 100 people in a room with around little like tables. You know how you do like a meeting, like around round tables? That's what our first Isogenics University was that I was at. I think there was 100 people in the room, maybe 150, if even that. And at that meeting, this guy says to me, hey, so tonight after the event, I have, permission from Kathy Cooper to use the room to show this really awesome video. Would you like to stay and see this video? And so I was like, well, I'm here. Here we go. We're going to do it. So I stayed to watch this video. And not only did this company change the trajectory of our life as far as health and our money, but that is the day that mindset, personal growth, the awakening happened. And it was this special guest tonight, our 36th ISA Millionaire in the company, the first person to really blow belief into me as far as what the possibility was to this company. And every single time he spoke to me or stood in front of a room, we just saw that belief go up, and people would walk away on fire. And spent so many times doing retreats and all kinds of different things just to build our mindset. But had it not been for that one day at that one Isogenics University and that one video, which happened to be the original version of The Secret before it was even like anybody even knew what it was, has changed everything. And so thank you, Mr. Lenny Evans, for joining us tonight, and for just being such an impact in Vinny and I's life, and for everything that you do for the team, and for just who you are. So thanks for being here.
Oh my gosh, Jojo, that just brought back so many fun memories. Thank you for sure, right? All of that and so much more. And we're just getting started, guys. And I do want everybody just to do something with me right now to start this call off for my portion. That is, I want on 3, everybody to just take a deep breath together, like a united breath, and just hold it for a pause at the top. So 1, 2, 3, breathe in. And now as you pause, think of someone you're grateful for. Like you wouldn't be here without that person's belief or something or someplace, just be grateful and then smile and let that go. And then write that down in your notes. I'm hoping you're taking notes. I'm already taking notes on Anna being on fire and staying on fire and breaking through, enrolling 1 a week, rock star status. Mona is going to do a marathon. Hello. I remember my second half marathon at the 13.1 arrow and then the other one. And I'm like, really? Somebody could do it again? And I still don't quite get that. And I'm so in honor of anyone that can do that. And JoJo, I mean, a week at the beach, like just because you can, because you said yes and you kept saying yes. And that's what I really want to talk about.
That was a month, not a week. That's a whole different story.
30 days. Yeah, right. Okay.
Who would have ever thought that we could be able to do that?
Ever thought, right? So I'm going to give you guys some serious value. That's my goal. And I want you guys to consider being open. Open to what I'm about to share, because it's my perspective after 14 years of doing isogenics and having a meteoric rise from 1-star to 5-star in 10 months before bonuses. And it was really like, I think back and I did it, I witnessed it, but I was like, how did that even happen? Like, and I want to kind of like help you guys short track it and take the shortcut to what I did. And I figured some stuff out, and I'm really excited to share just a couple of ideas about conversations you can be having with people, and perhaps more meaningful conversations, and just be open to it. And remember, my words are my words, and you can take it and write it down, because there are going to be some things I'm going to ask you to write down, and I'm going to hold up, and you can read them. But it's really cool because I'm super excited about the idea that, well, Sunday, let me first backtrack. Sunday, I drove an hour and 40 minutes to Costa Mesa, California, from my house where I'm at right now, and to see Jimmy Kathy Cooper for 2 hours. And it was the greatest meeting of my life. That was like, oh my gosh, I can't go into it here. I'm going to quote a couple things. But Jim Cooper said something that I'm going to use now forever because of the way he said it and how clear he was. And Kathy said a couple of things that were just mind-blowing. And then there's another lady that's influenced me in the last couple of weeks. Her name's Susan Miller. And Susan Miller is a very professional network marketer. She was one of the quickest to millionaire in history of isogenics. She has enrolled 8 of her rock star friends, and they all became executives, and now they're all millionaires. I mean, it's like a millionaire explosion we're having, right? And but she leads with more of the opportunity, and that's what I'm going to open you up to tonight. Some wording, some verbiage around how to talk about the probably, well, Eric Cooper says it, Kathy Cooper says it, Jeff Beebe says it, Jojo Bennington says it, Dave MacArthur says it. Really, Jimmy Smith has been teaching us from day one that the most important product we have is 100 BV. And so what is 100 BV? It's just that qualifying thing, because the opportunity to change someone's life financially is never been greater in the whole wide world. And that's worthy of talking about. So, even if you do lead with the product and you want to continue to and be a cleanse coach, and that is so cool because I did that for freaking years. I'm going to explain that. But I'm going to ask you to be open to a new idea. And that is, I listened to a CD I made for Isogenics years ago called Gap Management, and I had a gap survey, and it was really kind of fun. And so I do want to do the gap survey with you, but then I want to evolve it right now with you into today's economy and today's world, Facebook, everything. Because when I did this, I don't think Facebook was, it was just coming out. So, but it's really still pertinent. So I want you guys to play along at 100%. So I'm going to ask permission. Would you mind taking a quick gap survey? It takes about 30 seconds. Are you guys okay with that? And that's how I would say it to somebody. And then they say, of course, yes. And I say, okay, here we go. There's 3 quick questions to determine if you have any gaps in your life in these 3 important areas. Area number 1, how important is your physical health? This body, this temple that you have, and how important is it on a scale of 1 to 10? How important is your health? And they say, oh my gosh, a 10. You say, yeah. And so where would you rate yourself right now on that? Go ahead and just, right now, just first thing that comes to mind. And they go 4. I'm like, okay, thank you. Next question, financial security. How, on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being, super and super important, how important is financial security? Like you have money to pay for college, weddings, marathons, flights, everything, you know, never miss an event. How important? And they say 11, and you're like, yeah. And I said, where are you? And they usually say like if they say a 4 or 5, congratulate them real quick and say the average for America is about a 2. So good job on that. And lastly, number 3, where are you? How important is time freedom? Your ability to go for a month to the beach, and how important is it to have that? And they say, oh my God, a 12. And where are you on that? And usually that's the lowest one, especially if they're doing well in the corporate world. They have no time. So you got them somewhere, and then you just say, if I could show you a way that you could close 1, 2, or all 3 of those gaps, would you be interested in taking a look? And everybody says yes. But I don't want to talk. And what I want to do right now is say, that's awesome. And I've had massive success with that. And I challenge you to tweak it and play with it. But now I'm going to ask a different question. I'm going to ask every one of you this question right now. And I'm here to say that I believe that very few people on this earth are going to answer no on this. Everybody's gonna get this. Now here's the question. On a scale of 1 to 10, now this is a financial question. On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being, you know, you're there, and 1 being you're very far away from there, where would you rate yourself on being where you thought you would be by this time in your life? Boom. Boom, boom, boom. That question is going to resonate with, and there's no one. I mean, so far, I did it to Debbie Beebe today, and she was like, oh my God, no. Like, and I'm like, Debbie Beebe? Like, that was crazy. And she loved it. We wrote it down, and I wrote it down here. So I just wrote that down. So again, it's just a financial gap question on a scale from 1 to 10, you know, 10 being you're there, and 1 being you're far from there. Where would you rate yourself on being where you thought you would be at this point in your life? Because I will be really, really gut-wrenchingly honest. I thought I would be a lot further ahead. Thank God I have a vehicle that can help me get there, right? So I'm going to get to that in a second. But so based on that, I say, are you and then just listen to them, and they're going to go, Jojo, are you where you thought you'd be? Well, you might be different. Granted. But
No.
are you where you thought you'd be?
No.
Mona, are you where you thought you'd be? I'm just curious. Anna, are you where you thought you'd be? I got to do this real quick. Mary, are you where you thought you'd be? Who's down there at that bottom? I can't see. But do you guys see what I'm saying? Like, this is big time important stuff. So now, that's the question. It's like, would it be okay with you if I asked you a question? It's about finances. It's like a financial question. Would you be okay? And you know, money is a pretty interesting subject for people. But I'm still saying, if you can touch a pain point, everybody's got that pain point. Everyone so far. Jeff Beebe, Rhonda Coyer, Dave MacArthur, for crying out loud. That Dave might be one of the. I don't know. I haven't done this to Dave yet, but I'm just saying, me for sure. And now, here's question number 2. So now, when they say no, you know, I'm not where I thought I'd be. And you're just kind of listening and having a moment, let it sit, and then say, can I ask you another question? And they're going to go, yeah. And you're going to say, are you open to a financial opportunity that can absolutely move you forward and get you closer to where you want to be? Are you open? And even just if you say, are you open to a financial opportunity that could absolutely do this? If you are, you're going to love me. You're going to love this, because I'm about to show you something profound. But I need to just know, are you open to a financial opportunity that could help you close that gap? And what are you going to say to that? I mean, this is no-brainer stuff, right? That's 101 Susan Miller. Then Jim Coover comes along on Sunday. I've never seen Jim Coover better. Never. Like, I have a total man crush on Jim Coover right now. Like, his shoes alone were so amazing. Like, just he looked younger and better than I've ever seen him, and so relaxed. The way he taught the comp plan, it was just beautiful. But here's what he said, quote, are you open and willing to putting these products into your body for the next 30 days? That's it. Because look, guys, she said what Susan Miller really helped me see is that I had been going from the bottom up my whole career build, and she's saying that we should consider going from the top down. And I want to explain that right now, because it's super important that you track with me. So bottom up is, hey, I got this cleanse and you're totally going to like lose your acne or whatever. Like, I don't know, like you're talking product only. And then after they get on it or they lose 9 pounds, then you come in the back door and you say, and oh, by the way, there's a business opportunity attached to this. So that's from the bottom up. And she says that's going to create, well, very few companies can ever produce one single millionaire with that approach, with a product approach. Most everybody creates millionaires in other companies with a business approach. It's just a fact. And so, I mean, that's kind of exciting when you stop to think about that. So this is going right to the financial gap survey. Are you where you thought you would be by this time? And you're going to get a hell no, like excuse my language, but right? I mean, and then are you open to a financial opportunity that could change that? And they're going to go, yeah. And then Jim Cooper says, are you open and willing to putting these products into your body for the next 30 days to test it out? And I say to get a testimony, because you, at the end of those, before the 30 days is up, no one else decides. Only you decide if it didn't do anything. But I'm here to tell you, I can show you how to open your own online superfood franchise for as little as $1,500. I used to, and I'm going to share more of my depth story in a minute. What happened to me, and I was the senior vice president of a national franchise, getting $200,000 to open our, and there was no guarantee. And by the way, I'm going to just say that 90% of all those people lost their money, and it's the saddest story. I'm not even going to get into that right now. But Jim Cooper just says, are you open and willing? And the products we sell in, oh, by the way, are guaranteed to get you into your hottest body, like your hottest body. It's going to level you up. You're going to be on fire. And if you're not, you're just going to get all your money back for the products. No big deal. And that's that, right? I mean, it's so profound. So again, financial gap survey, that's going to be the first thing where we go on a scale of 1 to 10. Are you 10 being you're there and 1 being you're not there? You're very far from there. Where would you rate yourself on being where you thought you would be by now? I mean, this is just, I'm so excited because I listened to that gap survey and I brought it back and I thought that's the perfect thing to ask somebody to go right into. Then, are you open to a financial opportunity that could change all that? And then they say yes, and they said, then are you open and willing to putting these products in your body for the next 30 days? I'm telling you guys right there, that's a 1, 2, 3. It's so simple. It's so easy that, and really anyone can just ask those questions. And now we're not wasting time, because I want you guys to really honor yourselves right now and realize just how amazing you are and how valuable your time is. And I'm not saying it's not okay just to be a cleanse coach, because sometimes we have to be cleanse coaches. We're going to make sure people follow the program, and we're going to be somebody's accountability partner. That's where you want to do a welcome call. You got to start doing these welcome calls. There's welcome calls, there's celebration calls, and then there's organic 3-way calls. And I have a Facebook Live I did where you can learn all about that. But the welcome call, imagine you get somebody that's just about to open the box and you get them on with JoJo real quick to welcome them to the team. And you do this quick little 15-minute call, and she just builds belief, and she starts using some gentle NLP, like imagine going in and your skinny jeans are falling off, like you're like, she does. And so just start doing these welcome calls. And then as soon as somebody has anything good going on, it's time for a celebration call, because we live in a world that doesn't celebrate enough. We are different in this culture. We are a culture that celebrates success. Even 6 inches, that's 2 pounds of visceral fat around your liver that could save your life. 2 pounds of visceral fat, that's 6 inches. So for every 3 inches of inch loss, it equates to 1 pound of visceral fat. Add that up. Don't let anyone not do this. Are you kidding me? We're the only program that even does this, right? That sends a tape measure. So back to this idea, it's so cool because we're going from the bottom up. So if we start talking money, and then we could help them get started with their very own online franchise, that is literally epic. And so I just wanted to share that approach. First of all, I just wanted to throw that out there for you guys, because Kathy Cooper wants us to double the amount of people that are sharing this as a business, because truly it's the business that saves marriages. It's the business that saves lives. It's the business that saves stress. It's the business that lets people live their dreams. And Kathy Cooper wants us to have it all. It's not enough just to have your health. it's wellness. The true definition of wellness is rocking, you know, all the areas, you know, your physical life, your financial life, and your spiritual life. I mean, that's what isogenics means in Latin. Isa comes from balance, and genix is genesis, or life. So it's balanced life. We're trying to get balance back into our own lives and into other people's lives. So that's what I wanted to share with you guys. And I don't know, I would be open for questions. But there's one little piece I want to touch if I can have 5 more minutes. And it's just about you guys reinvent your 30-second story. Jim Rohn says you have to have an electrifying story. And if you're not excited, ain't nobody going to be excited. You got to be super excited about your own story. Renata Lee gently says, if you're happy or you're excited, please, dear, notify your face. You got to like live it and get excited about what's happening. That's what's contagious, right? And so there's a template in his book that, I mean, it's, you know, everybody probably has this book. If you don't, you deserve to have this in your library, because amateurs don't make money. It's just like a hobby, right? But pros make money, and it's so fun and easy to make money with our company. So I want to make sure that you guys remember that besides having things to say, clever things to say, and following like a system of financial pain points where they're not where they thought they would be, and then are you open to an opportunity? They're like, yeah. And then are you open to putting these products in your body? And that's why it's just so beautiful and easy that way. But then at some level, you got to remember that one of your most powerful free weapons is your electrifying 30-second story. And that goes for everybody, because mine is developing at such an I'm going to tell mine in a second. And it's like, it is changing at such a high level. I'm tapping into really what happened to me. And it's because this Susan Miller, I went and saw her to Super Saturday, and she and her daughter blew my mind. And Laura St. John blew my mind, and Ellen Bradley blew my mind, and they rocked it. And then full circle to Jim and Kathy Coover, again, driving this home, this message. So, but we all need to have that story, and you have a more electrifying story than you think. I know you do. And so, but I want you to make sure that you follow the steps in Eric Worre's book, Go Pro, on page 71. And it's just real simple. There's 4 steps that you follow, and it's a basic little template. Jojo, do we have time to go over that, or is that old news for everybody?
No, please go over it. There's probably some that haven't heard it. And for anybody who's been to UIA, it'll sound a little bit familiar because we do the 30-second story there, but it's
Cool.
It's a different version of that. But yeah, please do it.
Well, and I think that's great, you know, and I've been all over the place. I've traveled the country teaching people how to do their 7-second story, and I still believe there's a time and a place for a 7-second story. I'm not going to get into that right now, but really, Eric Worre's challenged us, and Jim and Kathy put a lot of stock in Eric Worre, and these 4 steps are basic. So step number 1 is your background. So just write that down, and I'm going to help you figure that out in a minute. But you're going to want to figure out what part of your background you're going to talk about. Number 2. The things you didn't like about your background. So you're going to dive into a tiny bit of vulnerability in this story about something that hurt. It was a pain point. Like there was something that you didn't like about it. And then number 3, step 3 of 4 is how isogenics came to the rescue. And literally, like, it was like, boom. And of course we have physical stories and we have financial stories. We have stories, right? And then number 4 is, so now, why are you so excited about your now and your future? And dive into that and get excited about why you're so excited about this opportunity. And so again, just step 1 is your background. Step 2 is the things you didn't like about your background. Step 3, how isogenics came to the rescue. And then step 4, so what's going on for you right now, and why are you so freaking excited that everybody wants to join you because you're just so freaking excited about it, right? That's what Jim Rohn talks about. You got to have that kind of electrifying story. And so I want to help you guys dive into that and make sure that you definitely have that. So would it be okay with you guys if I told my 30-second story? So my background, I was a high school teacher, and that didn't work. I was so scared. I used to throw up every morning going to school. I hated the intensity of it. So I opened a franchise, and I became super successful. I rose to the very top, becoming the national franchise vice president, but I started going around to people's businesses and they were saying, we can't pay our rent, and they lost their homes. And I would go into their bathrooms and shut the door and turn the water on and flush the toilet so they couldn't hear me throwing up because they were losing everything. And I remember the day I finally walked into the owner of the company. I said, I'm done. I have to leave. This is ruining my spirit. I throw up every morning. And I left. I was so lost. And thank God, Nikki Vescovi at a Dale Carnegie meeting said, Lenny, have you ever cleansed? And even though I was a little rude and I said, no, I don't want to do a coffee enema, and that's a whole nother story, I decided that I would say yes to it. And that box changed everything. It gave me hope again. It put my ladder against the right building. I started climbing again. And this time it's lasted for 14 years, and I'm just getting started. So I've never been more excited, and I want you to come with me. And I'm going to teach people everywhere how to open their own franchises online for less than $1,500. So I know that went over, but what I'm trying to do for myself right now is dive into my pain, because I used to go into those bathrooms and throw up, and I became an expert at helping them sell their stores for pennies on the dollar. It would cost them like $300,000 to open, and maybe we could get 80 or 90,000. I mean, crazy stories like that, and they would literally lose their homes, and it was so gross. And so now my mindset is, oh my gosh, I can show somebody how to open an online franchise called Isogenics International, and you can do it for $29, $39. You could actually buy one for no product. I get that, right? So for as little as $39, but I'm going to say, I used to charge, if you didn't have $200,000 cash, you couldn't get one of our little Hoagie Yogies that didn't make any money and stressed you out of your mind and made you lose your hair. I mean, that's why I lost my hair, because I had 30 high school kids running these little restaurants. So now we're showing people how to just from the comfort of their own phone. From the comfort of your own phone, you don't even have to say home anymore, because all we need is a Wi-Fi and there's a way. That is literally, guys, we had it all for people. So I get so excited, guys, because, and I mean, if people were lining up to give me $200,000 with nothing but risk, and now I can enroll someone for less than $1,500 with an ultimate pack, and they're set up for their first 60 days, and they're just going to flood their body and get the biggest testimony in the world. I don't know, guys. I think that everybody's time is precious, and we can. I'm learning. This is new for me, by the way. This is super new for me, because I'm an old 30-day guy. I helped invent the 30-day when I was on the field advisory board, and we only had a 9-day. I'm like, Jim, we got to have a 30-day, man. We got 28 days to get a habit. I was like this proponent for a 30-day, and I remember figuring out like what would be in the 30-day. And I think the 30-day has been the foundation of our company. But I just want to say that what we've done in 16 years by going to $1 billion a year, we're going to do that in the next 3 years. And so we had a product wave, because our products are so phenomenal. 85% of everyone in Isogenics are product users only. They don't even share at all, right? So we have the best products ever. But in the next 3 years, we're going to hit a financial wave. And that financial wave is because everybody really knows that this is the real deal now. The products haven't been on trial for 16 years, right? But for some reason now we're hitting the ranks of the big boys, and that's a big deal. So I just want to say that Jim Coover in that meeting, well, first of all, Kathy Coover, I'm going to end with this, said, she says, quote, "We are not normal owners," end quote. And I just thought that was one of the greatest things. And she literally up on that stage and with so much power and conviction said, "We love this. We're going to do this till our very last breath." Right, Jim? And Jim says, "Yep." And I was just like, oh gosh, they just love doing this for us, and they're doing it right every step of the way. And I wrote, and that's why I want to, Jay Bennett was the one that taught me there's no BV in TV. So if you guys know what BV is, right, you should be drinking BV. Like everything in this cup is BV. Content, except for my water. But Content is in there that I got BV on. Greens is in there. Fruits is in there. Ionics is in there. And Cleanse is in there. I got BV in this cup going down, right? So I wrote, if you want to expire, watch TV. If you want to inspire, teach BV. And so what I mean by that is right here, you guys over and over and over, I want to make sure that this, I don't know if that's my geometric progression of numbers. Can you guys see that? So I want you guys to make sure you understand this. You've got to be able to see that the geometric progression of 1 penny doubles, 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 doubles. It's only 64 cents on 1 week. And it's only $81 at 2 weeks. And it says here it's only $163 on day 15, but that's the decimals in the wrong place. That's 16,384 people on day 15 in 2 weeks. It's possible. So I just really want you guys to really own what BV is all about, and teaching the power of 2 over and over, and drawing circles and showing people how they can so easily make $900 by sharing it with 2 people who do exactly what you did with them. You know, value pack, and then the numbers work, and then they do that, value pack. That's $900, and they can do that in their first week. Can you imagine back when I started, if I could have made $900 in a week, Jojo? You could have sold your place where you help people quit smoking faster, so much faster. So I just want to present that to you guys because, you know, Jim Coover said, oftentimes people come up to Jim and they say, Jim, how big is Isogenics going to be? And Jim says, you know, it's that's a good question. How big do you want it to be? Because I need you. And that's us, right? He says, but I will tell you this. The company will not be the limiting factor in how big we get. The field will. So oh my gosh, I had goosebumps everywhere when he said that. He said the company will not be the limiting factor to how big we get. And so he's going after Johnson & Johnson. It's always been on his vision board. It's all he thinks about. Just like Dave MacArthur thinks about, you know, his 3x5 cards, Jim Coover's thinking about Johnson & Johnson. And it's 70, right now they're doing $750 billion a year. So I'm just saying there has never been a better time to be in Isogenics. Don't ever for a second think, oh, if I just would have got in. No, there are so many people under me that are making more than me. I took some time off. I took a little detour. I became a yoga teacher, a breath coach. I opened a yoga studio. I became a semi-professional mountain bike racer. Like, look, everybody's on their own journey. But it's amazing. I would have to have over $7.2 million in the bank, earning 3% to earn the money I'm earning on a weekly basis. And I am just so like, thank you, God and Coovers and JoJo and my team and everybody in Isogenics for seeing the vision. And I just want to end with this, that we're celebrating also that we have penetrated 0.05 of homes in America. That's like celebration worthy. But what inside that is the excitement that 99.5% of homes don't know about it. And what Dave MacArthur said today in this book, there's a couple of books that are like books that everybody deserves to read. So Go Pro, obviously, and then the 45-second presentation that will change your life. That's just a network marketing. You got to read this book. That's all there is to it. And it really teaches the duplication of numbers. And then this book, Casey Pluff talks about it all the time. It's called The 4-Year Career. Critical to have this book. And I'm not trying to overload you guys. You know, just do this. You know, do audios when you're driving back and forth. Get up a little earlier. Look, I don't know the answer. That's what I did. But I just, you guys, like, there's so many amazing things. And so in this book, Dave MacArthur said that. So let's just say that in Canada, there's 30 million people living in Canada. In the US, there's about 330 million. So between the United States of America and Canada, that's 360 million. You got about 30 million people that have ever even tried network marketing or taken the products from a network marketing company. So that leaves about 330 million right there that have never even done it. So what Don Fela says, he says 100% of people outside of network marketing don't understand network marketing. And 90% of people inside network marketing don't understand network marketing. So I just want to say to you, high five, man. You are early in because you're learning the correct network marketing right now and the duplication, and you hit the mother lode with the greatest company. And so like you're way in early. And so that's where don't get frustrated that people don't get it. Get excited that people don't get it. That's the whole point. So Jojo, I'm going to throw it back. I love doing this, and maybe you could have me on again soon, and I could hear everybody's 30-second story. That's what I'm doing on my Zoom next Monday. Is I got 15 people, and the whole Zoom's going to be everybody rocking their 30-second story, and practicing it in front of people, and so that's going to make everybody practice it, because the goal is sharing your story at least twice a day. And Kathy Coover taught one more thing on that. As soon as you tell that electrifying story about, I was a senior vice president of a franchise. All my people were losing money. It made me sick to my stomach. I used to throw up. I was losing weight. I finally quit and resigned. I was lost. And somebody asked me if I wanted to cleanse. And in that box was the answer for me, because I was born to be a teacher. I was born to be a franchisor. And now I have the best of both worlds. And I'm so excited about my future. So that's more the version of the 30-second, right? But everybody can play with that and play with it. And then as soon as you're done with your story, you say, did anything I say just resonate with you? And then whatever they say, that's what you talk about. That's why you need to go to Ice a Movie and watch them all, so that you immediately know which movie you're going to have them go to, because that's what's going to happen next. That's a whole system, right? Anyway, I just get excited about this because it's so fun, guys, what we have. And more, the only reason people are not in is because they don't know about it. And that's where we come in. So I'm open to some questions or whatever you want to do, girl. And I'm so grateful that you asked me to be on tonight. I was so excited to be on.
Thank you so much. I remember way back in the beginning of time in my Isogenics life, it's like before Isogenics, after Isogenics, right? BI, AI. So George Ruiz said to us very profoundly, and I believe it was you and I and Dave and George sitting in a room, and he said, if you want to bless one person, share the product. If you want to bless the world, share the business.
Wow.
Because business people will spread this way farther than product people. And at first I didn't get it, because I was like, what do you mean? How do you not share the product? But it wasn't that point. The point is we were feeling afraid to share the business because we thought that would turn people off of what we were doing. Because, 13 years ago, there was still, the stigma against network marketing has changed so much in the last 13 years. 13 years ago, it was still huge. We had a huge hurdle to overcome. And so to help people understand that, and when Kathy and Eric and Jim stood on stage at Celebration and said, going forward, we want to double the amount of people who are sharing this business, that has changed our entire conversation, because we have, and I will start out by saying me first, but as a collective, I feel like we have done a disservice because we haven't shared the opportunity enough. We haven't shown the progression of numbers enough. We haven't shown the possibility enough. And now in going back and doing that, and this is a perfect setup, Lenny, for next week, because Dave's going to come on and actually teach the numbers and show the leverage. So this was a perfect, right? It's always perfect. That to actually be able to have this conversation and show people what the possibilities are. And I remember, Lenny, when in the beginning, when you were questioning, like, is this really real? And you went to your lawyer, and what happened? Tell your little lawyer story. Do you remember that?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Are you kidding me? So I said yes to the products because I needed to lose about 10 pounds. I couldn't lose it no matter what. And I did the 9-day, and I lost 13 pounds and 5.5 inches. And I was just like, what is happening right now? I was so excited. And, but I was kind of bummed when I found out it was network marketing. I really didn't know that it was network marketing when she told me about it. And then I was like, oh man, I never had a good taste in my mouth about it. And so I was down on what I wasn't up on. But then I decided I would share it because I really I was different, man. 5.5 inches around your waist. Like I'm in a 29 right now. And I was like in a 36 tight. In any way, I called my attorney, Doug Hyam, and he and his wife did the 9-day, and he lost 13 pounds and she lost 17 pounds in 9 days. And he was like, what is happening? Like, he was freaking out. He was in USANA. He tried to get me in USANA, which was a different network marketing company. I took his vitamins for a month, but I don't really swallow pills that great. And nothing happened to me. And so like, I wasn't excited about anything because nothing happened to me when I did it. And I really tried it. And so then I called him up and I said, Doug, you got to try this. And he did it. And then I had enrolled a few people. And then we were on the phone one day talking Hoagie Yogi business because he was our corporate attorney. And he goes, hey, Lenny, are you thinking about going to build that Isogenics business? I said, oh, yeah, you know what? I looked at that and I'm pretty sure it's a scam. And he goes, what? And I'm like, yeah, like I did the math on the 9-day. And if you gave 6% of the 129, it runs out. Like there's no way they can pay to infinity. Like it's a joke. And like I was serious because I really I figured it out. You know, I knew. And he goes, oh, and he laughed and he goes, Lenny, you don't know. He says, it's so funny. He goes, you don't understand your comp plan. I'll teach it to you, but come down and we'll do a little Hoagie Yogi business and I'll teach you this comp plan and you buy my lunch. So the next week I went down and that guy on a napkin at my favorite restaurant, Chinese restaurant in Mission Viejo, California, he taught me this thing that got in. It was the first time I'd ever contemplated it. And then he said, Lenny, because I was going to become an attorney because I knew Hoagie Yogi that franchise was not my path. And I thought, well, maybe I could become an attorney because I was pretty good at negotiating the leases. And he says, it'll kill you. He goes, you could be making more than me in 2 years if you figure out and just start sharing Isogenics. You were built for it. And that changed my life that day in that restaurant. I remember going home and he says, watch that comp plan. So at isomovie.com, you go to wealth creation, you watch them all. And I've been using the business of the future. The one that's there right now, it's 6 minutes. It's dynamite. And that's the one I'm going to be talking about, the franchise, because it talks both, you know, it's amazing. So, but anyway, once he taught me that, and I remember, and I want to tell you this right now because it's important. I remember I went home, it was kind of late, and my ex-wife was asleep, and all my kids were asleep, and I went in and I watched the comp plan with Kathy Coover, and I watched it again, and I watched it again, and I watched it again, and I changed. I was different. And I have this one sign. I got to show it to you. It's hilarious. When I have the BV talk, I always like to give the warning. This is the warning you might want to write down. It's important. It's warning. This conversation may lead to severe sleeplessness. And I'm not kidding you right now because that night I remember going to bed and I was laying there and about 3 o'clock in the morning, I never did sleep, but I had the sensation I was underwater. And you know, when you're like, I don't know if you ever have a dream like that or you remember, but I was underwater for sure because I couldn't hear and everything was really muffled. And all of a sudden I realized that I wasn't actually underwater. My tears had completely filled up my ears. I'd never happened before where they were flowing so freely that my ears the canals were filled with my tears. And it was like I was underwater because I knew there's no way I couldn't become a millionaire. There was no way I couldn't do it. It was geometrically impossible for me not to if I just kept doing what I was doing. And it was that sleepless night. And I always say, you know, it doesn't matter when you get into Isogenics. It matters when Isogenics gets into you. It was cute because Kathy quoted me on Sunday, and I was there, and she, you know, it was really fun. And because I remember that's what it meant. It was like, if you watched the comp plan and you looked at what the geometric progression is and you just went to bed, for sure you don't get it. And no offense, but you don't get it. You got to have a night, at least one or two or maybe three. I don't know how many JoJo's had, but like where you get so excited because the same opportunity that got you to be a millionaire can give anyone the same exact opportunity to be a millionaire. And you can have people making more than you. It's the most amazing dream. So I just, you know what? I mean, JoJo, what do you think? I mean, this really is so exciting.
I'm so glad you brought that up because it's so funny. Dave and I did a comp plan training with someone yesterday, and their sponsor messaged us today and said, Abby couldn't sleep last night after our call. Like, she didn't sleep all night. We were like, yes, that means, you know that you get it. And really, in seeing the simplicity of just showing this to somebody, everyone understands that there's two people in their life, two people that will understand that 100 BV is the best product that we have, and continue to do that every month and share that with two people, and teach those two people that 100 BV is the best product that we have, and teach that to two people. And when it's two people, and we look at it like this big, huge task of a mountain, when really it really is two people. It's amazing. Right? So questions, you guys. Questions for Lenny? Kisses, gratitude, punches in the arm, high fives.
Thank you so much for sharing all of that. And I did write down a whole bunch of notes, and I can't wait to use the gap questions, because I think, and JoJo and I've been working diligently on having more of those business conversations. So I think starting that at the beginning of that business conversation is gonna be huge. So
I love it. You know what? It's so funny because that's where we started, was doing gap surveys, and we get so many tools in our toolbox that we forget the ones that are buried on the bottom.
Sometimes we rush. I think about that a lot. Sometimes you rush right by what got us here, and that's what got me here. And it really, this is, and having tons and tons of conversations, that's what that's about too, so really
we used to do vendor events, and that's what we would do, is go, will you take a survey? And we would do gap surveys with people that were walking by. That was how we talked to people at a booth. It was, that's what we did.
That's right.
1,000 times over and over and over and over. And we did some events where there were 20,000 people that came through.
That's why I recommend everybody doing a show or two, because it makes you talk to everybody walking by, and it makes you learn how to do it, So I think, don't have an opinion about it until you've done a few, and just go figure that out. JoJo and Dave probably have done more expos than any people in Isogenics. I would think.
I have expo PTSD.
Hey, but it got you. But how beautiful it got you to where you are today.
But when you think about it, Dave, Carl, and Kathy, right? So they came from you, but from then on, Dave came from an expo. I came from an expo. Jamie came from an expo. Jennifer Page came from an expo. We could go down the line of how many people came that way.
That's where I met Tammy Hess.
Cindy Jorgensen, right? That's where you guys got Tammy Hess, which is how Terry Courtney ended up here.
Yeah, that's where I met Tammy at What Women Want Expo in St. George, Utah. Gosh. Yeah, so I would say, for sure, right, do it. And also, I'm going to challenge everybody to take a look at your local Chamber of Commerce. I just joined mine here in Crestline for Isogenics, and it was really reasonable. And now I get to use the Chamber building for $25 for an hour, and to have these meetings about I'm talking about online franchises. Trust me, man. I own that category because I live that, but when you invite someone to the Chamber of Commerce, the very word commerce is business. It's the exchange of commerce, right? And so I've always loved doing meetings. I've done some. I've probably done 100 meetings in chambers, and they're $25 if you join the chamber, and then you get to go get network to all those people. And everybody's looking, guys. Everybody's looking for sure.
Awesome.
So anyway, that's just a little challenge to throw out there. It's kind of cool.
It's a good one. Questions? Comments? Hey, Kevin.
Here. So Lenny, you're an inspiration, my man. I love your energy, and as JoJo knows, my mission in life is to take all the people 70 years and older and deliver some new tools to them, because they have issues, and it's hard for seniors. I'm a senior, to kind of admit to having some of them financial issues. They have the world is closing on them. feels like it is. And I don't think it has to be. I say I do this. It's closing, but I can do this if you just listen. So I have no script. As JoJo knows, I'm working on trying to figure out how to have that conversation.
Ask any 70-year-old the following question. On a scale of 1 to 10, are you where you thought you would be financially?
Yep, I just heard it tonight, and that's wonderful words for the opening.
Well, just because it's true, and I want to say something else. Is it okay, JoJo? Are you open for a little coaching right now?
Oh, sure. Is it okay? It's okay with me.
Yeah, it's just really simple, and that is, I remember when I met Tammy Hess. She was in Mary Kay, and she was only after like a very small percentage of women with her Mary Kay business, and it was a certain demographic of people that made a certain amount of money, and that was the Mary Kay woman. And so she never marketed men of any age, any children, or women that were too old or women that were too young. It was just a very interesting little niche, like you said, 70 and older. So I'm just saying, what I told her, I said, what about everybody else? I said, I've got a product that every single human needs.
Yeah.
And so if you can get the 40 and 50-year-olds on board, they're going to help get their parents on board. Okay? So don't forget, just talk to everybody, not just one group of people. Does that make sense, JoJo? I mean, for everybody?
Yep, that does make sense.
Cool. I mean, and then because you got the message, you've got it, man. You've got something that if they just knew what it was, they'd be in. So you just got to get to a point where you're having more conversations, and that's awesome. Good job.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Good job. Thanks, Kevin. Anybody else? Anything to say? Add in? Everyone's quiet tonight. Small call. We have like 3 different calls going on, so I think we're kind of spread out. But we'll be possibly having some questions come up once we get the call posted up. And thank you so much, Len, for jumping on and always your belief and your enthusiasm and understanding of what this really is always profound.
Profound are we? That's for sure. I love it. I love it.
I would say F and profound, right? Okay. So.
Well, thank you so much, guys. I appreciate you having me, and anytime I'm here.
Perfect. Did I hear somebody?
No, just thanks again. That was great. I'm going to follow you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Oh, I think we lost him already. Okay.
Get it out of here.
That was great.